appears that the BBC can afford to pay a non-professional host £15,000 just for hosting one episode of a satirical comedy show. But that MP is also a Labour MP who is also getting up in the House of Commons and basically saying that she's concerned about her constituents not being able to afford heating or indeed food. Which way is it, truly? Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the heart of London, back in the studio today. A little bit chilly again outside. And this particular story I wanted to share with you because as we've seen time and time again in this woke world, it's interesting with all MPs and people who are in, shall we say, positions of power, that they always like to cite the fact that they're simply one of us. You know, don't worry, we're all in this together. You know, that mantra. And sometimes, let's be honest, we're simply not all in it together because there's a big difference between them and us. Of course, also, if you're part of a government that's currently not in power and then you're bleating on about how your constituents can't afford to sort of heat or get food or all that sort of stuff, then you really should make sure that you are blameless yourself. So I'd like to know what you think about this particular story concerning the Labour MP Jess Phillips for Yardley near Birmingham in the centre of the United Kingdom, and of course the BBC. Now the BBC have had this show running for quite a few years now. It's called Have I Got News For You, and it's an alleged comedy show. It was funny mildly a few years ago, maybe about 25 years ago now, but now of course it seems that anybody can get on there to be a host. What's strange is, of course, that if you're an MP earning over £80,000 a year, why would you then want to charge £15,000 to host one single episode? That is the money that Miss Phillips received from hosting a recent episode of that particular show. Now, what's interesting, as I say, is Jess is pretty vocal in, being sort of an activist, if you like, wanting to make sure that her constituents are looked after. She's prepared to speak up for them, all that sort of stuff. But let me remind Jess, she's a very wealthy woman in her own right. She's written quite a number of books. They've all received very healthy advances, if not in the sales department. So she's really not that short of money. Now, a lot of people might say, well, you're just picking on Jess. Not really. What I'm trying to point out to you is this, that why then, if she was being paid £15,000 by the British Broadcasting Corporation, particularly when they're bleating that, of course, they don't have that much money and they may need to shut down some channels now because they can't afford to run them, why then would Jess not possibly want to donate said fee to some of those local charities? Now, I could be giving a bit of discourse here, and perhaps she's already done that, and no doubt after watching this, she'll get in touch and let us know. But so far, Jess's reply was this. She said, yes, I know it seems a lot of money, but you have to remember there's lots of rehearsals. It takes a full day to film, and so really I don't make the fees up. They just offered me that. 2 points here, as I say. If you're already an MP who's claiming you can't afford to live on the £80,000+ salary every year, why then do you need to do extra work, including those books and columns and things that lots of MPs on both sides, Conservative and Labour, also do? Why then do you need to do that? And if you are going to do that, why not use that money from all those media appearances that you do undertake to give to your local charities to make sure that your constituents can have a better life? Just a thought. And as ever, that's your news for you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.